Burn that damn Super Bowl!
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Andrew Ellis is going to be out this week, so you get me and Curtis today, but we're going to have plenty of things to talk about as we get into some Razorback basketball, Razorback football, Razorback everything. And of course, we're going to have some heavy hitters presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction. We'll have a little bit of summer topics, a fun summer topic dealing with Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. We'll have some BetSaracen numbers to look at when it comes up to this upcoming football season. And of course, Vibe Check the Chat presented by our friends over at Basis Health. But Curtis, how are the Tuesday vibes over there in the Wilkerson household?
Pretty good. Yeah. Things are solid over here. We're off to a good start to the week. I got to tell you, I absolutely love that we're doing the what's for lunch thing in the chat again. Like I see Sweet Arkansas gal, little zucchini bread and peach tea. Seems like a very Batesville move there. I like it. I dig it. Finch doing his part with the Tyson chicken strips for lunch. We've got Rod with some Chipotle. We've got David with Jersey Mike's. Everybody's getting after it. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. I did not have lunch yet today because we had a vet appointment at 8:30 last night out of Weddington. And so on the way home, Michelle, she stayed back. She was eating her own thing. She was like, oh, pick up whatever you want, which is music to my ears. I gave Freddy's a shot. Haven't done Freddy's in a long time.
Yeah.
Very, very happy with the decision. Stomach paid for it a little bit this morning, but it's good stuff, man. I need to get back there more often, I think.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm never against Freddy's. I'm going to say this. I used to have this debate. Would you rather have for $1 million, like just right now up front, or would you rather be guaranteed to eat whatever you want, have a perfect body, and never gain weight and never have any issues? It's like, man, part of it would be, I mean, $1 million is great and all, but being able to eat whatever I want and feel fine and have a perfect body would be pretty hard to turn down.
I might be with you on that one. Yeah, I'm a big eater, man, big food guy. So that would probably be the way for me.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would be for sure. And we'll probably have some fun with that during the summer topics today. As there's a few things that have been going on, and that's what's nice about the talking season. This is the weird lull. I know people over the summertime, it's kind of the dog days of summer, but this is really, at least in our neck of the woods, the lull period, the end of July, where you've already had media days as we had last week. A lot of content coming from it and everything. And we know fall camp starts up August 1st for the Razorbacks. But that little stretch right there, it's kind of like, all right, so what's going on? Like, what are we doing here? What's happening? But yesterday, there was a lot of things that happened during the show. And leading up to today's show, there's been a few things. And one person that we had a chance to talk with last week at SEC Media Days was Taylen Green, quarterback for Arkansas. A lot of people pretty excited to see what he's capable of. I think he's everybody's favorite quarterback to play with in the EA Sports College Football 26 video game because of his abilities. And he's somebody that people are excited about. And I also would even make the argument that people think he's going to take that next step because, hey, Bobby Petrino, year 2, here's the numbers. A lot of people just buy into that, which is fine. I mean, that's what you want to do. But not everybody out there is all in on Taylen Green. In fact, one of those people that doesn't seem to be very big on Taylen Green is a former SEC quarterback and national champion by the name of A.J. McCarron. You all remember A.J. McCarron. He played for Alabama. Nick Saban won 2 national titles. Probably should have been 3 if they didn't allow the kick 6 to happen, but very highly decorated. And a guy, I believe he played for the Bengals a bit in the NFL. But either way, he was on the, I believe it's the Neil McCready podcast and live show and talking with different people and talking about different teams and everything. And I'm just going to play this clip and we can dive into it as far as reactions to the comments made here by A.J. McCarron. But brace yourself, everybody, because you may have some pretty staunch and pretty steep reactions. But here's what A.J. McCarron had to say about Taylen Green.
So I will be interested in Taylen Green and Bobby Petrino for a second year. I think he's probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I think he's sneaky good. Mississippi State.
Doing what? Running?
So bad on his decision making.
Listen, we cannot say this dude is a good passer, a thrower of the football. It's unless he started throwing with his left arm this year and got really good, the right arm didn't get fixed that much. There's no way.
He made some decisions last year where you're like, whoo, what?
It was brutal. Listen,
I like it.
kid's a hell of an athlete.
He can run.
I like
He's
him.
like a gazelle out there.
Yeah.
Watch out for Taylen Green in Arkansas.
And he
this year.
takes hits. Man, he takes some hits where you're like, dude, what are you thinking?
Year 2, Bobby Petrino, Taylen Green. Watch out. Bobby Petrino, pretty damn good coach there, AJ. Just saying.
No.
Wow. So,
Damn, AJ.
Yeah, geez. Listen, there are opinions out there. There are criticisms out there, especially about someone like Taylen Green. I'm pretty high on him. I know I'm higher on him than maybe Curtis, but I don't think even Curtis, with your criticisms, you feel as strongly as AJ McCarron did in that particular rant. But good grief, just made it sound like the dude can't throw from one side of the field to the other. Just really, really strong criticisms there.
Yeah. He's not that bad. Good grief, man. Yeah, that was pretty harsh. It almost seemed, I'm not trying to throw out accusations there. It came across as a little bit personal. Like, I don't know if he's gotten in some big argument with somebody else about it, or if this is a shtick of his. I don't know. Like, I'm not really familiar with that particular program there, but he just seemed really irritated at the idea even. And, you sent me this morning, John, the Cole Kubelik interview on, what show was that?
It was that SEC podcast.
That's right. Yeah. And he was very high on Taylen Green and his potential to be a big factor for Arkansas this season and take a step forward and everything like that. And so it's kind of funny to me, like the former quarterback thinks that Taylen stinks and the former offensive lineman loves him. You know what I mean? Like, I think that kind of tracks, right? Because to be honest, the guy who had to do all the reads and progressions and decision-making stuff and everything like that, especially him with the way he played the quarterback position, he has questions. And then, the guy who sees the incredible athleticism, the home run capability, the big play stuff, that also involves his legs and everything, you can overlook some of that nuance type stuff. So I'm not surprised that those two guys went the way they particularly did. I'm in between on Taylen, if I'm being honest, and I know that won't be super, super popular in here. But don't get me wrong, he's good. He was good last year. I think he's going to be better this year. I absolutely do. I'm just pumping the brakes a little bit personally on this growing narrative that I'm seeing out there that he can be like this one-man band to put the team on his shoulders type of star, right? And we see flashes of it, but at the end of the day, for me, I think there's a lot of progression that does need to happen. I mean, Taylen had 4 games last season with multiple touchdown passes, and it was against the 4 worst teams on the schedule. Like, it was, just being honest, like, it was UAPB, Louisiana Tech, and then the 2 arguably worst Power 5 defenses in the country, in Mississippi State and that depleted Texas Tech team in the Liberty Bowl. So that has to get better. I'm not a stats merchant, I promise, but I'll point out that if you look at his stats over the course of his 3 years as a starter, they're really close by way of, completion percentage, QB rating, touchdown interception ratio, all those things. And he had a much larger workload, I think, at Arkansas this year. Was 13th in quarterback rating in the SEC last season. He was only ahead of Brock Vandergriff, Michael Van Buren, who was a true freshman, and Jackson Arnold. And so, no, that's not the end all be all at all. And there were other factors that went into that. He wasn't fully healthy. The offensive line stunk. Like, there were a lot of things there, but, I think he's got some stuff that he's got to work on there that I need to see, and he needs the supporting cast around him to get there. The turnovers have to improve a little bit, the decision-making, but yes, year 2, better grasp of the system, a better plan from Bobby, who knows how to fully utilize him now, a better offensive line, hopefully more healthy, hopefully. Yes. Like, all the ingredients are in the pot there. I'm just not going to fully hitch my wagon onto that blind hope of, hey, all of a sudden he's going to be this top tier SEC quarterback that he's the reason why Arkansas can overcome their other deficiencies. I'm not there yet. I'm not saying he can't be that guy, but I didn't see enough last season to just go into this year being like, oh, hell yeah, that's going to be the case. That's all.
Well, and like we talked about yesterday, I believe it was on yesterday's show. I was like, and as in everybody makes sometimes assumptions about what is going to happen in an upcoming year, and about, oh, well, these players are going to get better because that's just the way it is. And I think with Taylen Green, it can kind of be that same way of the assumption. It was like, well, year 2 under Bobby Petrino, the quarterback whisperer, all these things. And similar to what we did a few weeks ago, or maybe even months ago. You got to look at ceilings and floors.
Yep.
And I think with Taylen Green, the ceiling is fairly high, but the floor could be pretty low, all things considered, because of the simple things. When I say simple things, we know he's got arm strength. We know he can run. We know he can be, that tall body that he can look over and see things and everything. But as a quarterback, not that I've played quarterback at a high level, but as a quarterback, it's those split second decisions that are make or break you. And it's not just about, who to throw the ball to, when to run and when not to run, when to pass, when not to pass, when to throw it away or when to force something, when to trust your offensive line and when to check off, when to have audibles, when to do. There's just so many things that happen as soon as that snap is set. And in that 3, 4, 5 second time frame, there's a lot of decisions you got to make. And that to me has been the thing about Taylen, is not his physical capabilities, but just his decision making. Now, I don't know what specific drill, if there is one, that Bobby Petrino's working with and be like, hey, this is exactly how you fix those quick decision deals. I don't know if it's just reps. I don't know if it's chemistry. I don't know what it is, or confidence, whatever it could be. But my point is that with Taylen, I believe the ceiling is fairly high. But because of the fact that the last we saw in all the numbers you threw out there, as solid as it may have been, or as fine as it may have been, it was certainly an improvement from the previous year and in the final year of KJ Jefferson. It's not to say that all those things that may have been a problem with Taylen Green are just going to be fixed because of one offseason. Like, I just think that is a very tough thing. Possibly it can, but I just feel like it's a little bit naive just to think that and assume that all those things, it's going to be totally fine, no issues whatsoever. There are going to be problems. He has been known for having problems. It's just a matter, can he limit those problems a little bit more than what he did a year ago?
I think that sums it up really, really well. Because we do have the from year 1 to year 2 with Bobby factor here. And so, yeah, I do expect a jump. I would maybe be more inclined to be on board with the like the huge leap from flashes to being like a star type of guy if this was year 1 as a starter period to year 2. You know what I mean? Because we have kind of a full, it's a large body of work at this point. But yeah, it's not shade at all. I mean, I've always maintained, even last year when a lot of folks were trying to bench Taylen Green, my take with him has always been that the upside that he has, the home run potential, the unique playmaking dynamic that he brings to the table absolutely outweighs the inconsistencies there. Like, there was never a single moment in my mind where I thought, yeah, they probably need to go to Malachi Singleton moving forward here over Taylen Green. I didn't feel that way. And a lot of people did. But just because of that, it doesn't mean that those inconsistencies don't exist. And so how much progress he makes, we'll see, because he will get better. He absolutely will. There's no doubt in my mind about that. How much is what I'm really waiting to see. And I would also be, and we've beat this horse dead at this point. If he had a little bit more continuity around him with his supporting cast, I would feel even better about that potential there, because he's not back to square one with his mastery of the system and everything like that. But with his targets and his comfortability with guys, that's going to be something that's evolving over the first few weeks of the season. It might be better, and we hope that it will be, and that he'll feel comfortable throwing the ball to more than one receiver out there or whatever. But we just don't know that yet. We think that the offensive line could be improved in ways that are going to help him, but we don't know if that's going to be the case just yet. So the jury will be out for the first few weeks, but he's going to progress. I'm just anxious to see how much that's going to be, and it will impact Arkansas' ceiling this year. Yeah,
and I think the point you made about continuity is exactly what I was going to say. Is it's amazing how differently you would feel. I would feel for sure. Is if like, okay, I knew they brought back pretty much the entire offensive line. They brought back all their tight ends. They brought back all their wide receivers. Jaquan Jackson's back. Like, if they were just bringing back the entire offense, which I know is hard to do and never really happens that often, but if they were, I don't even think it would be a question of, oh man, this, like, we'd be sitting here talking about this offense could be one of the best in the SEC because of those facts. Mm-hmm. But because of so many new faces where could be better, could be the same, could be worse, the supporting cast, I don't care who you are at quarterback, there's only so much you can do. You know, Cam Newton's like the exception to the rule of a guy who just takes over and is that guy that leads a team to greatness based on his own shoulders. And every quarterback has to have quality people to throw to, has to have an offensive line that'll protect him, has to have all these things. And again, Taylen Green may have that, but if he doesn't, if the offensive line is worse than what it was a year ago, if the wide receivers are worse than what they were a year ago, in any sort of capacity, not all of them, but just one of those position groups worse, it's going to make Taylen Green worse because he has to stay upright. He has to stay protected. He has to have guys be open. He has to have guys that can run routes. He has to have guys that can catch the ball. He has to have those things because as good as I may think he could be or what his ceiling can be, it literally means nothing if he's the only threat on your offense because everyone's going to target him. Everyone's going to game plan for that. And they'll be able to shut him down a lot easier if you don't have any sort of other threat surrounding him, or if you have a big glaring weakness that you can get to him in the offensive line or whatever, that ends up making him make worse and horrible decisions, turning the ball over, taking sacks, whatever it is. Because I don't care who you are, that's going to get in your mindset of a quarterback where you're just getting destroyed every time, and it's going to make you worse, plain and simple.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, shoring some things up and having some guys emerge around him is going to be probably equally as important as him making his own progressions as an individual player. I agree with that wholeheartedly, especially with the offensive line, because Taylen, he's different when it comes to what he can do with his athleticism, escaping danger, making plays and everything like that. But that also makes him very vulnerable, and he doesn't shy away from taking huge hits, man. And, a lot of people have pointed out, and it's fair to point out that he was hurt so much throughout the course of last season. And what could he have been if he was fully healthy? Well, that's also us going into this assuming that he's going to be healthy all this year. With the way that he plays, he's probably going to be playing banged up quite a bit. That's just the nature of it. Whether the offensive line is letting him get sacked a bunch or not, the way he uses his legs, the dude's going to be getting popped a lot. Like he's going to feel it at the end of a game. So I don't know that he's the type of quarterback who's going to be playing at 100% health for a majority of a season. It's kind of like the folks with when I was screaming about depth with basketball all off season. It's like, I just don't understand why they're not getting more guys or whatever. And they eventually did. But a lot of people were saying, well, I mean, hell, Curtis, if they were healthy last year, it would have been a completely different story. Well, yeah, it's us assuming that they're going to be healthy this coming year. We don't know that. So why leave it to chance? But I wanted to run this by you, talking about the supporting cast around him. And I'm going to bring up a chat here. But, a lot of people have pointed out with the receivers of, you might not have Andrew Armstrong, but that could be a good thing. Like, he won't be fixated on him. He's going to spread the wealth and everything like that. And my thought on that has kind of been, this could be true, but at the same time, you had Isaac Tesla, and we saw how much he wound up being valued by NFL franchises and where he wound up going on that. You just didn't get him the ball. And, you had some other guys capable that you didn't really get him the ball. There was kind of a reason why he was fixated on Andrew Armstrong. And part of it is he's really, really good. And he's not going to be back this year. And so Michael, I think he raises up an interesting counterpoint where he says, I'm worried that he would need great wide receivers to be a really good quarterback with his lack of accuracy and decision-making, but thinks he'll still be better than last year. I think it's a valid point to consider, like the opposite side of that. There's always two sides to every story, right? The whole, well, maybe he just has more guys to spread it out to. Maybe they'll be better in the slot, whatever, versus, well, he's not going to have that star. And maybe that's something that he really needs to have done the things that he did do last year. I don't know.
Yeah. And I agree, because looking at someone as recent as KJ Jefferson, KJ had Traylon Burks and a Matt Landers. Traylon Burks obviously to me, the most talented and best wide receiver in Razorback football history, just basing it on his skill set. Where how many times, Curtis, did we see KJ Jefferson snap the ball and then just once he saw that Traylon Burks was one-on-one, just throw it up to him? I mean, that Texas A&M game, the one that Arkansas won back in 2021, I'll never forget. It's like the first drive. You get the touchback. You got 75 yards to go. Snaps the ball, and as soon as he gets it, just tosses it up. Because they knew Burks was going to be there. And Matt Landers, I don't think he was as good as Traylon Burks, but highly underrated wide receiver that had speed and was able to catch the ball and beat a lot of players in one-on-one. I'm not trying to take anything away from KJ doing that, because let's be honest, if any of us were quarterback, we'd do that too. You want to get the ball to your best players, duh. But it's a matter of, if you don't have that safety blanket, what happens if you don't have that player? You just say, don't worry, I'm gonna throw it up to him. But they say, F it's Traylon Burks down there somewhere. Like if you don't have that type of player, well, what are you gonna do? Well, that's kind of what we're probably gonna have to figure out this year with Taylen Green. Gonna have to see. He's not, I mean, he could, but right now on paper, I don't see anybody like that.
Right. And not to plug other folks' content or anything, but I know one of the big themes with DJ in the 4th of 25, when they would do some of those play breakdowns, like the QB breakdowns, would be, yeah, maybe he completed a crossing route to Andrew Armstrong, but did you see Tesla streaking wide open down, or Satania with nobody within 15 yards of him or whatever? That security blanket thing, it does matter. And a lot of quarterbacks have that. And so, yeah, not having it, sure, it could encourage you to spread it out and be a little bit more versatile in that front, or it could create some more of those. If you struggle a little bit with, getting through progressions, I think that's a little bit overrated of a statement, but that like you said, it's a split second kind of thing. And sometimes that split second decision was, I'm just going to throw it to Andrew and we'll make a play here. Well, if that's not there, then it might be an extra half second before you decide where you want to put the football. And sometimes that's too long in the SEC. So how much more comfortable he really is in the playbook, the system, and that chemistry coming along with his receivers is going to be really, really important. And it's going to make the difference in who's right in the argument. Somebody's going to be right. And honestly, maybe the answer is somewhere in the middle, like the gray area, but either he's going to be that much better off, or not having him is going to put him in a little bit of a trouble spot there.
Well, we're going to talk about more of this and get into your chats, folks, but I want to remind everybody that we are brought to you here on the show by our friends at Hickey and Hull Law. We know divorce and custody cases are far too important to face alone, so let Hickey and Hull Law provide you with the persistent, diligent representation to help guide you through this entire process, because they have handled thousands of family law cases and have experienced nearly every scenario that may come up. Who knows? Maybe as a husband and a wife, you have a house divided when it comes to your favorite college football teams. Maybe you're a Razorback fan and your significant other is a different fan of a different fan base. It could end up causing some problems. Well, if it ends up happening, let Hickey and Hull Law help you out, because they understand that it is crucial to their clients to keep them updated on their cases, and that they are available to provide advice and counsel throughout the entire process. So let Hickey and Hull Law help you out. They have offices across the state of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. And you can call them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Or you can check out their website. Just visit hickeyandhull.com or scan the QR code. And right there on your screen, it's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. Okay, so dealing with the conversation we've been having about Taylen Green, a few chats I want to jump into about this. Let's see. We have this. Jonathan says, how much of that has to do with he didn't have any wide receivers except for Armstrong? Well, I guess we kind of
we touched on that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah. So but hopefully that answered your question, Jonathan. Michael says, I am worried that he would need great wide receivers to be a really good quarterback. With his lack of accuracy and decision-making, he will still be better than last year, which I think it's a matter of these wide receivers that they have. We haven't seen a whole lot of them. Like, I know that they have speed. I know that they have elements to them that could be good, but I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, don't worry, Omega Blake, best hands on the team. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. Guy can catch. Maybe he can't catch. Maybe he can. Is he a guy that he can catch it, but it has to be right there in his breadbasket? Or can he make catches that are insane and way out of his depth, but making acrobatic catches there too? I don't know. Same thing with the running backs, even, because I think they're going to rely on a lot of those guys catching the ball out of the backfield. Can any of these new running backs catch? If so, are they going to be targeted? It's about, do you have enough of those guys to, if you're inaccurate, to make those plays and to be able to come up with those catches if Taylen Green's not going to be right there on pinpoint too?
Yeah, and no, that's a fair point. Just like KH brings up here, he says none of these wide receivers are proven at a powerful 4 level, and that's true. That doesn't make them bad, though. Like Andrew Armstrong wasn't proven at the power 4 level. Neither was Tesla. At big picture wise, most of these guys who have, really emerged at Arkansas out of the transfer portal weren't. You know what I mean? Like, they might have been good at a lower level or whatever. I guess, Jaden Hazelwood was okay at Oklahoma, but a lot of these guys you take flyers on. They do really good at a lower level and they transfer up. That doesn't mean they're not capable of being really good SEC wide receivers. It just means we don't know. Like, it just makes it that much more difficult to project. So this is very much, I think, where we do the thing of, it's like we talked about yesterday. The popular belief is, well, the offense is probably going to take a step forward. The defense is going to take a step back. The reasons to think the offense will take a step forward is literally year 2 Bobby with year 2 Taylen. But I think the jury's still very much out on all of the other complementary pieces there. You know, some of them will probably pan out, some of them won't. You just hope more do than not, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm just basing on me. If I wasn't as big of a Bobby Petrino fan as I am, I probably wouldn't feel as good about Taylen Green, just to be honest. But that's just kind of my saving grace right there. And talking about Taylen, he's like, well, you know, Bobby, you know, just his Bobby's there. And I think that's a valid reason, because Bobby has proven time and time again he can do great things with quarterbacks. He's proven it at pretty much every level and every stop he's been at. It's just a matter of, you know, are we going to get a Lamar Jackson, which I know we're not, but I'm saying, are we going to get boom, crazy, amazing, fantastic quarterback play? Or is it going to be one of those years where it's like, you know, they're at the end at Louisville. He didn't exactly have the greatest of quarterback play. You know, it's going to be solid, decent, but is it going to be just that, or is it going to be something that wins you games? It's going to be
right. Yeah. Well, David said, so if Dan Enos was the OC, you wouldn't believe?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Just want to make sure you clarified there.
Nope. Although I will say, I'm not saying that it wasn't a disaster, because it was. I just think for KJ Jefferson, they hired the absolute worst type of offense coordinator. I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think Dan Enos is a horrible coach. I just think you could not have had a worse coach to coach KJ Jefferson. Like Kendall Briles and KJ works out, but Dan Enos and KJ, absolutely not. Dan Enos and Brandon Allen, great. You know, sometimes it's just about the fit. And I felt like that was more of just a bad fit than him just being a bad coach. Let's see. A Heartbroken Hog says, actually, John, I disagree specifically about wanting to bring back the entire O-line. We needed some transfers there. Listen, I'm not saying that the offensive line was elite level last year, but I also don't think that it was garbage. You know, it wasn't like the previous year. I would have liked to have seen Addison Nichols with another year, and Patrick Kudus, which we didn't get to see much of him last year, but I think he's really talented. I think he's a really good offensive lineman. Would have liked to have seen that. We're big Josh Braun people. I like Josh Braun. Did he hit his peak? Was he going to get any better? Don't know. I just like familiarity. Familiarity is good, and it could be better for sure. But I don't know. Could you not just kept maybe one of them? You know, like, you know, kept Coot or kept Braun or even Nichols, something like that, just to have that. That's my only thing, is losing one of them, and hey, you know, it is what it is. But losing, what was it, 3, possibly 4 of guys that contribute on the offensive line? It's just you don't really know for sure.
Yeah, and I guess depending on, like what happens with Amarian Harris, you know, in terms of if he starts, whatever, they probably won't have a single offensive lineman playing at the same spot that they did last year, you know, because with Carmona moving inside, might be better for him long term. He might be better inside anyway. And, you know, and Corey Robinson might be better than he was at tackle. All those things could be true, but not a single guy in their same position. And a lot of times, and we've talked about this, we talked about it a lot last year when we were wondering, okay, is this offensive line going to be improved or not? And one of the things we were worried about is like, well, I kind of like some of the pieces they have, but it's really, really hard to build one through the transfer portal, which is kind of exactly what they're doing here. And then the guys that you do have coming back are going to be playing at a different spot. So it could work out for sure, but it's just the jury's kind of out. You need Robinson to be a really good SEC tackle. You need somebody to step up at guard. You need Kittler to have it figured out at center, which he's done, you know, in the Big 12. So you hope that happens. And then I think the biggest difference maker, like the X factor for me, if Shaq McCroy is ready to roll at right tackle, because he's a mountain of a man with he just looks like an NFL guy. And yeah, he'll probably make some mistakes in his, you know, first true action out there on the field. But if that's a dude who's ready to step in and be a starter for you right away, that changes things in my mind. If he's not, then I don't know, like what the heck do you do over there?
Yeah. Well, also too, to that point, you know, you think back to the year before when you added these transfers, like Carmona was a perennial starter at his previous spot. Addison Nichols played a lot at Tennessee. You had, I guess Josh Braun was previous year before that, but you know, he had played time at Florida. You had seen these guys play at eye level, and with them, and I know that you have other offensive linemen that have too, but the McCrory, I mean, he hasn't played. Like we have no idea. He could be coming in and be just as good as, some of the other offensive linemen Arkansas has had at that tackle position or in the inside. Or it could be like that Jalen Merritt guy who looks the part, but just can't see the field and can't figure it out. So, that's my concern is I know some of these guys have played previously. You mentioned the center there at UCF and other guys, but everyone's about McCrory, I hope, but that guy hadn't played. He's a young kid, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, what I hope is like with Shaq McCroy. Now I know he went to Oregon, and so that's different. But I just remember when Arkansas was recruiting the heck out of Tykees Crawford, and then he wound up having to go to Charlotte for a year. And then when you got him on the flip side, on the run back out of the portal, automatically it was like, oh yeah, like this he's going to be in there, good to go. Boy, he looks the part. Oh man, what a great spring and everything. And then he just never got a shot. It just never panned out for him. McCroy can't be that guy. And he was a higher rated recruit. All right. So don't get me wrong there, but it's like a guy you recruited hard. You were so excited about, goes elsewhere. And then you get him on the comeback and you hope that he's everything that you thought he was going to be. You need him to be that. If he is, then you're on to something. If not, then you go from the optimism of, all right, yeah, like this, there's a path here to this offensive line being better and being, good, above average, whatever this year to, oh gosh, like, what are we going to do here?
Yep. Because what it's also going to be too is just like everything with people right now, not feeling maybe the best about the situation and also the amount of players you lost from last year. But the offensive line got rated. And as some people say in the chat, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but a lot of you feel like, oh, the offensive line is going to be better because they needed these guys to change and all that. But the second that we start seeing in the beginning of the season, if there's offensive line issues, and I mean like glaring ones, it's immediately going to be like, why did you let these other players go for these guys? Like what? It's going to be another thing of the NIL, whatever you want to call it, but how in the world did you let this happen? Because you had guys that weren't as bad as this and you replaced them with guys that are worse than them. And it's all on you. Like that's just something I know it's going to be popping up and people are going to be discussing. So those of you who think that the offensive line may be better, I hope it is because I like Mateos. But like something that I think it was Cole Kubelik said in that interview on that SEC podcast. And so many people have been like, hey, it's Sam Pittman. I mean, surely the offensive line is going to be good. Well, not always. A few more chats here too, because I know we have some other things we're going to dive into. But how about David saying, how many games until the masses call for KJ Jackson? I set the over-under at 2.5 games. What you taking?
Dude, I love the idea of, and I know you talked about some of the stuff that we'll do, for camp and everything of just the funny, who's going to be the fall camp hero that never gets to play, who's the guy that doesn't get talked about at all during camp that breaks out, like all those different things. It's going to make for a really fun show, but doing some over-under type of fun with some of this stuff, just that we know, just picking on our friends here a little bit that the Razorback faithful are going to be good for. I will go under on that because I think Taylen's going to be electric in the first couple games, and then they'll face a real team, on the road there in week 3 at Ole Miss, and it's going to take like 2 3-and-outs or one interception on the first drive for people to be like, nothing's changed, get him out of there. It's going to happen. It's not going to be like a large majority, but we will start hearing some of that before halftime of the Ole Miss game. I'm going under.
Okay. I'll go over, but just slightly because I think that Taylen's going to be healthier and more confident going up against the lesser opponents in the first couple of games. And he is going to I think he's going to start off well against Ole Miss on the road, but something's going to happen late where either he gets hit or he throws a bad pick or something. And then that's when people are going to start feeling, oh, well, maybe let's see how he bounces back. And then they view that next game at Memphis. And if he starts really having issues, that's when people are going to start calling for it. So right. I say over, but just slightly.
Yeah. I'm biased, Brim. You say that's the over. It's not though. 2.5 games, right? I mean, Alabama, A&M, Arkansas State, that's 2. And then before halftime of the Ole Miss game. Yep. So that's under 2.5.
It's right under 2.5.
Ole Miss is the third game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Third game of the year.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Also, a few more here too. I like this from Showtime Production. He says 2 things can be true. 1, Taylen struggled with accuracy, consistency, and turnovers. 2, Taylen is dynamic playmaker and electric running. quarterback who flashes the ability to distribute the ball well.
This is well said, and it's also funny because Andrew is the king of two things can be true. That's just like his favorite deal, and I do that a lot on the Pod to Palace. That's like a staple on these like the player grades or whatever. And it's like, okay, two things can be true. He sucked, but you know what I mean. But this is it's very true. Here's the thing: you would rather have the intangibles that Taylen Green has with his athleticism and his ability to escape and create something out of nothing with his legs and everything, than not have it, right? Because if he didn't have that and he had some of these issues as a quarterback or passer of the football or whatever the hell AJ McCarron said, then you would really have a problem here. But again, for me with Taylen, I think you summed it up well with, the ceiling could be very high. The floor we've seen, at times there have been games, halves or whatever, where we're like, good grief, dude. It can be low, but I just think that the dynamic that he brings to the game and the overall potential there, it's just no question that it outweighs the negatives.
Well, I just love the fact that we should just have a new segment called at some point in time, like two things can be true. Just have a segment dedicated to that and go through random things to say, hey, two things can be true.
I agree.
Also, I want to address this from a Big KG says Petrino ran off the all-time record holder at UArk for a quarterback that got benched at Boise State. I don't know if this is tongue-in-cheek or not, or if you're just being – sometimes it's hard to tell if people are being sarcastic or trolling or whatever. Yeah, and I think everybody was okay with KJ moving on and Petrino bringing somebody in, because what happened to KJ at UCF? Not only did he not start, he became the third-string quarterback at UCF. So, you got to take that into consideration. The all-time record holder at Arkansas goes to another school in a smaller conference. And as a coach, I believe with Gus Malzahn, that, has kind of been known to help out some quarterbacks like that and had nothing really to show for it. Couldn't even see the field. So I'm not hating on KJ for that. I'm just telling you that you got to put it all in perspective. And with Taylen Green, yes, there was that issue where, he was benched, but you've seen him at Arkansas already. You saw him after 1 year. Was it horrible? Was it terrible? I mean, there was times it was not great and it needed to be better, but I didn't look at what Taylen Green did last season and be like, oh gosh, why did we run off KJ Jefferson? I never once felt that last year. So I don't think it was running off. I want any coach, especially quarterback coach, offense coordinator, go get your quarterback that you want. And that's what I loved about what Pittman did. He's like, I think, reckless of theory here, I think with the Dan Enos deal, it was more, I'm hiring you to come in and coach KJ. Disaster. So he learned his lesson. He's like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. When I hire a coordinator, I'm going to say, if it's KJ, great. If it's somebody else, go get him. But whoever you want, go get. That's my reckless assumption, and that's why you ended up who you ended up having. So.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And they're at the end of the season, didn't it just feel like it was time for a change there with KJ? You know what I mean? Like I think that would have happened regardless, unless maybe they got his boy Kendall Briles back or something. I don't know. I'm trying to remember, and I don't know if you'll remember this or not. And this irritates me. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know. When Arkansas took Taylen out of the portal, I know he was the handpicked guy by Bobby and everything, but there were a couple other quarterbacks that they were on and connected to pretty heavily before they snatched Taylen up. Who were those guys? I cannot remember who they were. I'm sure somebody will. But anyway, I just want to throw it out there in the chat to see if anybody could come up with those names legitimately, please. But I know there was at least one more, and I think a couple that they were connected to before they got Taylen in there. Yeah,
I could be. Again, I'd have to go back and look, but I could be wrong. I thought for some reason that UNLV quarterback was in the mix, the one that ended up like leaving in the middle of the season. Or maybe it was like before he got to UNLV. I don't know. I felt like there was somebody like out in the West at a school that I remember like watching and being like, oh man, this could be interesting with the Petrino angle. But yeah, specific names, I don't overly remember because I was just more focused on, hey, Bobby's back, and I don't really care. It's like Bobby's back. But I know some people were too, really hoping for Jacoby Criswell to be the guy. He was already on the roster.
Yeah.
But, once we got to go to spring practices and we saw it was Taylen Green from the jump. Like he was getting first team reps, and that was it. So
we had that Jacoby Criswell enters the transfer portal story written and ready literally after the first day of spring practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was very, very clear where that was headed, and he knew it. Everybody knew it. And that was pretty much a wrap.
Yep.
Jacoby had a pretty nice season. I'm glad he got a shot at North Carolina. It sucks that it happened with the 40-year-old quarterback that they had over there from LSU getting hurt. But it was good to see him get to play and everything. But yeah, Taylen was the guy, no question.
Yes. And I'm going to throw this out there too, because I know we have other things. There's only been 2 coaches in my fandom and my Razorback football knowledge, 2 coaches, you can call them head coaches or coordinators or whatever, that I lost trust completely in them making the right decision on who played quarterback. One of them's Chad Morris, because they played 8. So that's an easy one. And the other one was Houston Nutt. We're going to come after him because I'm hating him, but you saw it too. There's a Casey Dick or Mitch Mustaine, Robert Johnson. What about him? What about Robbie Hampton or Gary Brashears or Zach Clark? It's like, yeah, you had a stretch of Matt Jones, thankfully, for 4 years, but there was some issues. But my point is, those are the only coaches that I lost trust in getting their quarterback and who they wanted to have. I did never, some people try to doubt it, but I never had any doubts about Brandon Allen being the right guy on the current roster. Not saying go give it to somebody better. I'm saying of the quarterbacks on the team, Brandon Allen was the best quarterback on that team. KJ Jefferson, when he played, was the best quarterback on the team. Felipe Franks, always forget him, but he was the best quarterback on the team that year, and he played. And with Petrino, I feel the same way. I don't think that, that's why I got so upset and annoyed by the Taylen Green bench him for Malachi Singleton thing, and I have nothing against Malachi. He did a fine job. But I'm just like, it's Bobby Petrino. He knows. He knows what he's more comfortable. And I don't think Petrino, say he's got an ego, but his ego is about success, not about, well, I need to make sure I'm right because I chose this quarterback. If the guy stinks, he's going to replace him and put somebody else in. It's not like, oh, well, Malachi, you're just too good because I made my decision, so you're going to sit over there and we're going to suck and lose games because I got too big of an ego. I never got that vibe from Petrino. So I don't think it's going to be the same case this year too.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that 100%. And yeah, I think you're right just about the Sam Pittman era in general. They seem to have made the right choices there. And I appreciate you just, a Felipe Franks reference here and there. The man doesn't get talked about enough. He really doesn't. So I'm going to make it a point, at least once a week from now through the start of the season, we're going to bring up Felipe Franks. He needs to be talked about more.
All right, let's do one better, Curtis. I say maybe this football season or something, we here at Inside Arkansas have an official Felipe Franks award that we give out once a week or once a month or something to just, and we could be on the random player of like, oh yeah, that guy, like just, oh yeah, him. How about that? That player there,
I second that motion. I'm in.
Yeah.
I love that.
We'll get Baz and make a trophy and it'll be great.
Yes, exactly.
Because this is just random, but yes, Jalen Catalon's still playing football. I still blows my mind every time I see that. It's like, golly, man, that guy still playing, and you're going to play against him this season. He's going to be back in Fayetteville. His final game in the regular season as a player, I think, is going to be in Fayetteville at Donald Reynolds Razorback Stadium. So
I hope he makes it to that point. And I don't mean that as a joke either. I'm dead serious. Like it was good that he was able to have a whole healthy season. There with Barry last year, and I'm not exactly tickled pink that he's at Mizzou. I could live with the other stuff. I wasn't even that mad about Texas because at least it's the home state and everything like that. Whatever, like gross, ooh, orange. UNLV, okay, fine. That actually makes a lot of sense. The Missouri thing just rubs me the wrong way, man. And I know he's like 4 years removed from being a Razorback or something at this point, but
yeah. I'd rather him had his return trip back to Arkansas and finish his year where it started. Like he be a safety. Like if he was a safety on this team, kind of like the AJ Green thing. It's like if he was back on the team, I'm not sitting here saying that, oh man, watch out. His All-American season from freshman year is about to come back. But at least it's like, I'd like to see it. It'd be a cool story. Like what if he stayed healthy and did really well? That'd be really cool. Full circle.
I'm all for nostalgia, man. It reminds us of a better time.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. We need to make another award, call it the Jimmy Witt Award. That any player that started their career at Arkansas, left, and came back and finished it, like AJ Green's going to do. We just need to make an award for that. That'd be great.
I like it.
All right, so we'll get into your chats, but I did want to ask this as far as our Alumni Hall question of the day, presented by Alumni Hall. We are going to be there on Friday, this Friday, 3417 North College Avenue, Inside Arkansas Live. Will be live from there starting at noon. So we really look forward to getting there. I know that everything's in off season right now, but this is the time. They're getting in all of their good stuff for football season, all their new apparel, all the Nike, all of the Columbia, Johnny O, Peter Millar. They're going to have it all, and we're going to tell you all about it. So come by and see us on Friday at 3417 North College Avenue. Use that code HOGSBY20. You'll get 20% off your purchase. You can also shop them online at InsideArkansas.com/alumni hall. We're really looking forward to that. Talking about Taylen Green. So at least in my research, the leading rusher for a quarterback in Razorback history in a single season was Matt Jones in 2002 with 707 yards. I believe that's what the case is. We've heard some comparisons to Taylen and Matt Jones, but do you think Taylen will surpass more than 700 yards? And if not, do you think he gets close to getting to 707 yards?
Well, if I irritated anybody a minute ago with my critiques, and I actually don't think I did. I think I presented it well. It didn't seem like the chat got too mad at me. But if you're a Taylen lover, I think you're going to like this. Yes, I think he's going to. I did some research. I went and found some numbers. I say I'm not a stat merchant, but here we are. Riley Leonard led, I can't call it power conference because he was at Notre Dame, but like high major programs or whatever last year's quarterbacks rushing. He had 906 yards. First of all, different offensive line, I get it. But if Riley Leonard can rush for damn near 1,000 yards at quarterback, so can Taylen Green. But I have a trivia question for you. Okay. Who led SEC quarterbacks in total rushing last year?
Of all the quarterbacks.
Of all the quarterbacks in the SEC, who had the most rushing yards?
At first, I don't even know if it's true, even close. But first one that popped up was just Diego.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I would not have gone there first, but after I was told no a couple times, I would have really started to hone in on it.
Well, real quick, I was just going to say, it's not because I was like, oh, yeah, he rushed the most. It was just the first quarterback that came to mind that played last year in the SEC. So I'm like, oh, yeah, go ahead with that.
There you go. Yeah, Diego Pavia had 801. Okay. Jalen Milroe had 726. Lenoris Sellers had 674. And then it was Taylen at 602. So like he was already in that mix. You had multiple quarterbacks in the SEC last year who went over that 707 mark. And for what it's worth, the new Oklahoma quarterback, the kid from Washington State, Mateer, he ran for 826 over there last year. Like, I don't know if he'll be able to do that in the SEC or whatever, but there's going to be some dudes with wheels at the quarterback position in this league, which you think of Marcel Reed and Lagway and some other guys. It's interesting. Anyway, yes, I think Taylen winds up getting past that mark, assuming he can stay on the field, because that was part of it. I mean, he had 600 plus last season. He got sacked 36 times. So yeah, like a marginally better offensive line could help him. Quicker decision making should help get that sack number down, whatever. But there was the infamous LSU game last season where they said, hey, we're not going to run him. He's going to play, but we're really not going to let him run because he's not healthy. All right. There was the Ole Miss game where he got hurt early and was out of there. Tennessee, he was limping around and then he was out of there. Like so many of these games that he wound up not even playing the entire time. Had he just been able to stay on the field a little bit more, or for like one extra game, he probably would have done that last year.
Yeah,
I think so. I feel good about it. Like Lamar Jackson, and I'm not doing the Lamar's, Taylen Green, whatever, but he ran for 960 yards for Bobby Petrino as a freshman. And then it went up to 1,500 in his Heisman year. Then it went up to 1,600 his junior year. So like when Bobby Petrino has a quarterback and he figures out what he can do, he finds ways for him to do it at the highest level. So I'm all about Taylen Green getting over that mark rushing this year. I really think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. I bring up all the time. Ryan Mount and Taylen Green could not be further of different quarterbacks at all in the style, but yet both of them are good, or at least potentially with Taylen Green can be highly successful. But throwing in Lamar Jackson, I mean, that was Petrino's best quarterback because he won the Heisman and everything. Could not be more different from Brian Brom or Tyler Wilson. But as you said, Petrino finds ways to get his quarterbacks to succeed, and that's what I love about him. But I'll say I was a little surprised, Curtis, because I even mentioned in the poll question that it's Matt Jones. So it's not like, oh, just breaks it, because people love Matt Jones. 53% said yes. that Taylen Green is going to rush for more than 707 yards. But 47% say no. So pretty close, but I agree with you. I think that he does eclipse it. I think he gets to that point. And I think, it's going to be a really good year. And I think you're going to see a lot more design runs and how they're going to do it. So, but yeah, I'm all about it. Let's see. Hey, appreciate the super chat, Seth. He says, I finally talked myself back to the possibility of this football team being good again. There's a lot to be excited about, but our coaching staff will still need to pull the best out of everyone. So
that they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something to be said about the level of the unknown. Like just so many of these guys, like we talked about, like the receivers, for example, not a lot of guys with the proven Power 4 experience or whatever. And, some of these transfers who weren't the top ranked guys, but they were, really productive at, lower levels and stuff. There's just something about that does excite me from a standpoint of, I just love seeing who it is that winds up emerging. Somebody's going to. Like some of these guys, it's not going to pan out. It's not going to work out. People are going to be putting them on bust lists and everything else. That's just part of it, especially when you have to take as many transfers as Arkansas had to. But there are going to be a handful of guys who were not that heralded or whatever, or who didn't have big springs, who really do pop for this football team. And that is something to be excited about, wondering who that is, seeing if you can predict it right. And I have no idea what those answers are going to be, but there will be some on both sides of the ball. That's for sure.
We'll get to more of your chats, and we'll also talk a little basketball here in just a second. But we'll remind everybody that we are presented by our friends at Basis Health. We know that they are changing the way that healthcare is delivered by providing those mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. It's Basis Health. They're here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. You can also check out that QR code on your screen as well. So a few more of your chats, and I do want to bring up some basketball, and then we'll have some heavy hitters, and got a lot of things to get into today, but we appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us here on the show. But Mike teed up, says, hey, John, I know you're opening the phone lines again this season. I'm going to be honest, man. I've been going back and forth on this. I know I keep saying I want to do it, but there's parts of me that doesn't. It's just a matter of what it looks like and everything. Like, who knows? Maybe we do. And when I say we, probably me, but maybe I do something where it's a separate show, if you will, a live stream. Maybe it's a members only live stream that we do where we have phone lines, just to kind of open it up, something like that. But I just think it's really difficult because of the amount of things we got to get to, the technical side of things for the phone lines. I get it. It's fun. It is entertaining, but it's got to be done right to where people aren't just be like, okay, I'm out of here. Like, we got to do it the right way. So
I've thought about those exact same thing. I think it'd be a good idea. It could be a good move for a members only type thing. Could be a great, like, Sunday, day after the game, get it all off your chest type of deal. There's some possibilities there for incorporating that and then still being able to kind of get to and do all the things we got to do. I think it's good.
For sure. Just like this from Never Ever. He says, I'm going to divorce my wife if the Hogs stay sorry. Oh,
that's crazy, man.
Well, hit up Hickey and Whole Law. They'll help you out.
See, if that's your barometer, it seems like you might be in an unhappy marriage. You know what I mean? Like you might be looking for a reason already. So, Mrs. Never Ever, be on the lookout. You might need to consult Hickey and Whole.
Yeah, because if it's already at this point in time, you're on borrowed time as it is.
It's brutal.
That marriage. Let's see. Trey also says, do you guys know if any fall camp will be open to the media? I assume that they're going to be doing the same thing that they normally do, not us, but the media will be getting all the cool stretches and stuff for like the first 20 minutes as far as filming goes. They'll have some practices. What was it, like an hour that you get to watch, but you can't report on it. You can't record it or anything. And then you'll have press conferences. I assume that's what it'll be because that's what it's been previously, but don't really know the protocol.
Yeah, so they changed it a little bit this past year. Spring is always way more open than the fall and the season, but they used to do fall camp was open from a standpoint of they'd give you like 20 minutes a day, like the first 4, maybe 5 periods, and you get to film a couple of them to put that stuff out there, and then they send you on your way. And then, like after every practice, there will be a combination of a couple players, and then they'll get through all the position coaches and everything like that. So you'll get to talk to everyone throughout the course of the fall and get to know the players and everything, which is good. But last year they shut down practice. Remember, like after camp and going into the season. It just wasn't a thing. In the past, we'd been able to do like Mondays and Tuesdays. You'd be able to come in for that 15, 20-minute period. And Mondays, it's like the day after the game. So they're in shorts and half the guys aren't practicing because they're just recovering from the game and everything like that. You didn't get much out of it. Tuesday was okay. So I don't know if they're going to bring that back or not. I would imagine the fall camp stuff will stay pretty much the same there. But we should, my guess is we're going to get an email at some point this week. We will talk next week to Ben Souders and Sam Pittman leading up to the start of camp.
Yes. I also wanted to throw this out there to go ahead and defend Sam Pittman. The media and closing it at the end or whatever, that's not Pittman. That is a Bobby Petrino move.
Yeah.
That ain't a Pittman being like, oh, I don't want anyone to see anything. It's like Petrino's like, we are shutting this down at this point in time, and you just got to deal with it. So I was like, okay, that's what that is. So before people get fired up and start being mad about, oh, Pittman's scared, that's Petrino. That is a Petrino move. Just to let everybody know. And real quick, because I know we'll get some other things. John Trimble just said, I'm fired up to see Corey Robinson and Carmona play side by side this season. That will be contagious for the rest of the O-line. Let's get back to punching people in the mouth. And I like the optimism, man. I really do. I like the approach there.
I like the potential of that side of the line, that tandem there. It definitely could be a lot of fun. And I'm with you on that standpoint too. Of you talk about getting back to punching people in the mouth, but I do kind of miss I don't know, like the physical. I'm not saying like the old school smash mouth, run it down your throat kind of deal, but just a little bit more. I don't know about chippiness, but I don't know. Like people are gonna feel you when you play. You know what I mean? Like just the physicality and the toughness, and it doesn't always equate to winning. But I think there's something to be said for just having that kind of mentality as a team. We hear them talk about it all the time about that's how they want to play this physical brand of football and everything like that. And then, we didn't necessarily see it so much, especially last year and the year before, in fairness. So I do hope that they can get back to that a little bit. It'd be nice.
And also I said that we're going to move on for football, but I'd be remiss if we didn't bring this up. I know this is crazy. This is important stuff, but Arkansas lost a staffer and on the football side of things today to Auburn. And a lot of you are like, whoa, what happened here? Well, they lost their director of player personnel, Jovon Hubbard. And he is now joining Auburn and Hugh Freeze as their next assistant general manager. So he's been on Sam Pittman's staff since 2023. And he is going to be expected to play a key role in being a general manager in Will Redmond's front office there at Auburn. So there you go.
Yeah, I've read the release from Auburn, and they kind of gave Hubbard quite a bit of credit for Arkansas's last two recruiting classes here, and take that for whatever it is. But one of the things they said is like, well, he's being brought in with the idea of being in an important front office role there at Auburn and contributing to getting their 2026 recruiting class back on track, because it was way down. And then they just got a top 100 commit or whatever. So, hey, if he's a guy that can do that, good for him. What it does tell me is that there are guys over there in that building, personnel who are being identified and picked up and brought into important positions at other SEC programs. So like we talk about, well, what's going on? How are they allocating their resources? They have the right people in place over there. Well, you just had someone, and I know he had a prior relationship with Hugh Freeze, but who was identified and plucked to come over there and be in a larger role. So,
yeah. I mean, listen, I just think timing is always a fascinating element to any of this. What's the timing? I know you brought up Auburn needing help, but for Arkansas, it's like, is this something what expected? Was it something that they're okay with? Is it something that's going to be a big blow? Is it somebody are they going to promote somebody to this? But we know that they're balling on a budget right now. So are they going to just not fill the role? I don't know. It's just really interesting timing of July 22nd with fall camp for everybody. Like Auburn starts fall camp next Monday. Like they started early. So no idea, but either way, wanted to make sure that was known. And if you want to know more about him, just go to the Razorback website and you'll find out all you need to know, because apparently he didn't even have a bio filled out, as I found that out. So
weird.
I know. It's like, I mean, have the guy himself write up one, something like that. I don't really get it, but hey, that's above my pay grade. I can tell you that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our heavy hitters here on Inside Arkansas Live. We appreciate HD Roofing and Construction being a part of it each and every day. As we all know, storms can hit unexpectedly, so be sure to contact HD Roofing and Construction for your peace of mind with free inspection. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on that professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. And you need to get it checked out. I know it's getting hot outside, and some storms can come in and everything, but we know wintertime with snow, with ice, all those things, it'll be here before you know it. So go ahead and get ahead of the game right now and get that free inspection by calling 501-428-0429. That's 501-428-0429. You can also check out all the great services and book your appointment today at hdarkansas.com. Also check out that QR code. It's HD Roofing and Construction here on Inside Arkansas Live. Okay, so for heavy hitters, and this is kind of I may stretch Armstrong some of these into talking about some of the ones that I want that we'd talk about anyways. But one of my heavy hitters is, of course, Jon Rothstein. And, Cal went on his podcast and had a lot of great Cal quotes and everything. But I like keeping up with his power rankings of conferences and everything. Because say what you want about Jon Rothstein. Is it weird that he tweets the same thing every morning? Maybe. It's great, though. It's his brand. It's his shtick. But I always appreciate him. But he keeps up to date and put out power rankings for his SEC basketball teams this upcoming season. And he's got Arkansas at number 2, with number 1 being Florida, the defending champs. Boogie Flan gets a lot of love into that, as far as he's big on Boogie Flan. I think he picked him to be, I guess, preseason all SEC where it's at, or like one of the best 5, however he put it. But he's big on Boogie Flan. But either way, he's got Arkansas at number 2, where he says, with a controversial connected duo at 2 and 3, Rothstein decides to go with Arkansas being there because of Wagner, Knox, Brazil, Billy Richmond, and also the top 5 recruiting class, throwing in with some transfers. He said, quote, at 2, I'm going with Arkansas because the amount of returning personnel that Cal has at his disposal. Cal has a team, unlike a year ago, that has a base of returning experience. That's why I have Arkansas slight edge ahead at 2 over Kentucky. So anyways, I give Jon Rothstein, he's my heavy hitter because I love the fact that, he's obviously very correct on the Razorbacks, because that's where I would have him. I'd have him above Kentucky at number 2. But those are the things I see. And I'm like, yeah, man, basketball is going to be great. I can't wait for it. It's going to be so exciting. So Rothstein, you're my heavy hitter today, my man.
I need to look at his full power rankings for the SEC and see how close they were to the ones that I did a couple weeks ago. Now, if he had Florida and Arkansas at the top, then we were samesies on the top 2 there. So that's good.
Kentucky at 3. I don't know if you had him at 3. So
I put him at 4, man. I'm not giving those guys too much credit.
Just real quick, who's your third then?
Well, I went with Alabama, and the reason that I did is because I'm placing a lot of value on the retention aspect of things. Yep. And you look up, and when they got Phylon back to go with Aiden Holloway in that backcourt, they've got Houston Millette back. They've got the other kid who was a starter for him 2 years ago, and he got hurt early last year. They've got like 4 or 5 guards back who are big contributors for him there. And, I think they're going to be good again. If I'm being honest, listen, I'm always going to throw a little shade at Kentucky.
Of course.
They're probably going to be ahead of Alabama in most preseason things. But, that's the way that I went there. But, yeah, good on Rothstein, man. And he cracks me up because he puts out his Rothstein 25 or whatever the hell it is every single day. And it never changes because nothing's happening at this point. But he's like, the latest Rothstein, rankings or whatever. And it's just the same thing every day. I
got nothing but respect for the man because, again, you could say it's lame and that's whatever. It works, and it's always worked for him. He gets it. He gets content. He gets social media. I respect him for it, man. Always will. By the way, he had Alabama at 5 and Auburn at 4, just to let you know. So
that's fair. Yeah, I can't get there with Auburn. You only got 1 returner on your entire roster, and Tahad Pettiford's good. He also just got popped for a DUI. They've got a lot of talent, and I think Bruce Pearl's a great coach, but that's kind of like Arkansas last year for me, where it's just a brand new thing. They're going to take some growing pains. They're talented. But I do say that sounds like he's not high on Tennessee. Was he have them at 6 probably?
He has Tennessee at 6, correct.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, I'll just read them off for you real quick.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's got Tennessee at 6, Texas at 7, Mississippi State at 8, Ole Miss at 9, A&M at 10, Missouri at 11, Oklahoma 12, Vanderbilt 13, Georgia 14, LSU 15, and poor South Carolina at 16.
That's tough. Yeah, we're pretty close there, me and him. If you flip Texas and Oklahoma, like I think I have them actually in opposite spots, and that's a pretty big variance, then we're pretty close to the same there, me and Rothstein. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Fair enough. I respect it.
Yep, got to.
Yeah, I like that a lot. My heavy hitter to stay on the basketball front, obviously I've been waiting for an opportunity to sneak this in here. We talked about it on the pod, the Palace, obviously, but Jordan Smith Jr., the number 2 overall prospect in the 2026 class that Arkansas has just been they've been at literally every one of his games they could possibly be at this summer, been prioritizing him heavily. He's at the top of the board. He has officially scheduled his visit to Fayetteville, which is the next step in the process here. September 20th, 21st, he'll be at Arkansas. Also scheduled a visit to Kentucky in October. It is kind of funny to see how this works. It's like, Arkansas offered the Cole Clower kid, and then 12 hours later, Kentucky offered him. You started hearing all this buzz about Tyron Stokes, the number 1 prospect in the class, sitting some other visits. And then I saw Jamie Shaw's report yesterday, and he was like, yeah, that's true. But man, everything I heard at Peach Jam, it's Kentucky and Arkansas. And then you've got Jordan Smith Jr. scheduling 2 visits, Arkansas and Kentucky. Do you see where this is headed?
Yep.
So this is going to be a lot of fun. It just adds fuel to the rivalry. Jordan Smith Jr. is awesome. And so when you have guys who are ranked, the top 2-3 prospects in their class in a given year, it's usually one or two things. Either they have crazy NBA upside and projectables, or they're like ready-made to come help you win in college right away. Jordan Smith Jr. is the latter. I mean, he's like 6'2", but super, super strong, physical, powerful, crazy athlete. Like he averages 2 blocks per game as a 6'2" guard, crazy defender, gets downhill. He'll dunk on you. When I think about the possibility of Jordan Smith Jr. and JJ Andrews in the backcourt, that's terrifying. Just the 2 most athletic, physically gifted, defensive type dudes that you could have out there. They're not going to escape any shooting allegations that Arkansas has been facing, but that would be crazy dynamic, and really, really like where Arkansas stands going into this. There's been a lot of buzz that this will probably wind up being an Arkansas and Duke race, even though Kentucky's trying to get involved here late. I would give Arkansas a slight edge as of today for Jordan Smith Jr., and that would be a lot of fun. Think about the potential of, let's say, Jordan Smith Jr., JJ Andrews, and then sandwich in between like a year 2 Malik Thomas. I'm just saying, man, could be fun.
I wouldn't say no to it. I wouldn't say that would be bad, and that I would be disappointed if that ended up happening. So yeah, that's it's something to get pretty excited about. Also, I know Cal has said this before, but he's talking about with Rothstein. This dude truly believes that Arkansas Duke game is going to be the highest rated game next season.
He does.
I'm not saying he's wrong, because again, Cal knows more than me, but is it something he truly believes? Is it something he's just trying to promote? Is it something he's just flexing on? I don't really know. But I'm like, that's just a really bold statement. Thanksgiving Day and up in Chicago, and let's hope that Arkansas is really good at that point to where they're top 15, top 10 team. Like that would definitely help. But I think even Cal talked about the huge viewership that he had with Illinois last year on Thanksgiving Day, which I know you were at, Curtis. But I don't know. I just think it's funny because dude's calling a shot. Not only just not saying he's going to win a game or anything, but hey, it's going to be the highest rated game of the season. And I think he even said, what was it, the highest rated game in a decade?
Yeah,
that's bold, dude. That's bold.
It's going to be. It has the potential, and I don't know. And obviously where it falls, right after Thanksgiving football and everything, like it's in a position to where people are going to keep the TV on. Like the viewership should be high. I remember last year going to the one in Kansas City, obviously, and leaving and being like, this was definitely a made for TV event. It wasn't that big of a crowd, frankly, because it is Thanksgiving Day. People were at home. So I wonder what this is going to look like in Chicago. I'm excited about it, but yet, Arkansas, Illinois at the time, good game, but not a marquee type of matchup. If you think about the star power, with Arkansas, the guys they have back, and obviously Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, you think about Duke, and they've got the Boozer twins and, all that stuff going on over there. We'll have to see where Duke is at. I think that they probably have some early games that are going to really test them, but they're going to be ranked really high. Arkansas could be undefeated coming into that game. Because I'm looking at it, and it could be their first huge one, because that's Thanksgiving Day. But like Texas Tech is December 13th and Houston is December 20th. Louisville is December. Those are all after. And so unless you sneak up to Michigan State early, then Duke might be that first huge one there. So you could see like a 6-0 Arkansas that's ranked inside the top 10 playing a top 10 Duke team, whatever. It's got potential to be a banger, man. No doubt.
Well, I'm up in the air if I'm going to be able to go, because it is Thanksgiving. It's going to be tough. But I am just so excited. This is weird, because this is probably the most excited thing I am about that game, is an Arkansas regular season game where you're going to be able to turn it on TV and hear that CBS theme song, because our SEC doesn't play on CBS anymore in the regular season. So it'd be nice to have that. It'll feel right, it'll feel right being on CBS. Those two teams, Arkansas and Duke. I wonder if the 1994 game's going to be mentioned. I wonder if that's going to be brought up at any point in time. I'm sure it is. I don't know. I don't know who's going to be on the call, but hey, bring Jim Nance out there. Get Bill Rafferty. Hopefully they got the A team out there. They better for that game. They better have the A team.
I know Rothstein was on the sideline for the one last year. So,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, he better be on this one. Again, just saying, they better make it big time and make it great. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll listen to me about it too. So, but yeah, those are our heavy hitters here on the show, folks. As we're going to continue on, get to some of your chats and some other things, and I want to give a shout out to our friends over at BetSaracen. It's the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas for a reason, because it is the best. You can go on there if you're ready for college football. They have future bets. How many games do you think Arkansas is going to win? How many games do you think Arkansas is going to accomplish, including a bowl game in postseason if you're feeling that high? Who's going to be the Heisman winner? Who's going to win the regular season in the SEC? I mean, they got all of these odds, all of these bets going on right now at BetSaracen. So check it out today. Download the app on your iPhone or on your Android, or you can also check them out online at BetSaracen.com. It's BetSaracen, the #1 sports betting app here in the state of Arkansas. So, okay, so a few of your chats here that we'll drive into. Just got to get to the super chat, but T Razorback or Trazorback, however you want to say it, he says, wide receiver can't be worse than Broden last season. Oh, listen, okay, we got to move on from Broden, folks. We got to move on from Broden. You can thank Whitty for all that nonsense, but got to move on from Broden. Hey, the guy wasn't the #1 featured wide receiver. It was a guy that, yes, he dropped passes. It was frustrating. But come on, we got to move on. We got new guys in here, so let the Broden stuff go away.
Yeah, it just was, some guys perform under the lights. Like, they're not practice players, and they really pop in game situations. And Broden, I can give you firsthand, confirmation that he was the exact opposite of that. Because I'm telling you, in practice throughout that entire spring, that dude looked like an NFL wide receiver. I mean, he was catching everything thrown at him. One-handed grabs, touchdowns, double coverage. He looked unreal, over there opposite of Andrew Armstrong. It made all the sense in the world to start that man. But yeah, I get it. Like, there came a point where it was like, all right, what the heck are we doing here? Let's try something else. But I understand why they tried to stick with him for a while, because it was like, man, we've seen what he's capable of. It never really translated to the game.
Yeah. Also, Tamara says Acuff and Leak played against the Boozer twins a lot. We are gonna best Duke, or I see me beat Duke. I'm being bold today.
It's not even that bold, Tamara. Tamara is a ball knower and a basketball lover, and that makes me happy. Yeah, they did, and I love that. The freshman star power in that game is going to be absolutely ridiculous between Arkansas and Duke. It's going to be really cool.
I can't wait. Like I said, if I have a chance to go, I'm going to try to go. Chicago, how far of a drive is that from here? Like 8 hours, 9 hours, something like that, maybe?
Probably right in between, I would guess.
Because think St. Louis is, but like 6 hours from here. So, or is it further?
5. Yeah,
okay.
It's not that bad.
Okay. So, yeah. Maybe.
That's probably about right. Probably 9.
Yeah. That's the thing I hate about XNA and the Northwest Arkansas and all this stuff. It's like, it should be so easy to fly to these major airports and cheap, and it's not. It's like not at all.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been so cheap to fly from like here to Atlanta for the SEC Media Days, and it wasn't. It wasn't going to be. So that's one of the big reasons I drove. But either way, yeah, that's rough. Let's see. Also, too, there was another chat wanted to bring up. I think I forgot to start it, so I apologize. But if I see it again, I'll bring it up. But
there we go.
Yeah. Oh, so Smitty says, did you guys see the viral video of Tennessee fan asking why the hell there's Razorback nuggets in the grocery store? No, I haven't seen that one. No,
I did not see that.
And then
I need to
obviously,
see it.
Yeah, let's say obviously it's not viral if we didn't see it because we're up to date on all the viral stuff that happens in the sports world. Let's see. Also, Big K Jesus says Ole Miss added the best international player to their roster. They're going to be good as well, not the best, but good.
Yeah. Yeah, good, I think is a nice way to put that.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it with that backcourt, but
yeah. Well, apparently Rothstein's now he's at him at 9th, 10th. So apparently he's not too high on him either.
I think I had him at 9th. I think they're going to be good. Like, I mean, they've got the Malik Dia dude back who's really, really good. They got Louisville's center who he might be the best lob dunker in the country. They got the Corey Chess dude from LSU that's just kind of a double machine. Their front court's really good. I know they got this international guy, and then they got like AJ Storr and the kid from Kentucky, Perry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah. I like this. Dakota says you can fly direct to Chicago on United or American. I know you could fly to Chicago on United. We all know that because that's what I was on to Lexington, where we flew to Chicago, and I lost my luggage. So yeah, I'm very aware you can fly direct. And I'm not going to do that again. And then Michelle comes flying in saying, John, we know you're not flying if you don't have to. Okay, relax. All right. Listen, I am going to drive if I can do it. But, again, like if it was San Francisco like it was last year, even then, I do not want to drive to San Francisco. I could not think of a worse thing. I'd rather drive to Buffalo, New York again than try to drive to San Francisco. Drive anywhere in California or Washington or anything crazy like that. So.
It's a long way.
Yeah. You wouldn't think it's weird. I know this is how my stupid mind works, but I'm like, Arkansas or Fayetteville's not exactly center of the United States, but it's pretty close. And you would think, okay, well, it'd probably be the same distance to Buffalo that would be out to LA if you're driving. No, it's like double. It feels like it's insane. It would take you 24 hours to drive out there. I feel like so. All right. So I know we'll have some other things to get into. I was trying to remember if there was something else. I wanted to bring up. Oh yeah, real quick before we get into our summer topics and get y'all's chats. Do you have you? What's this? Is it Grok thing on Twitter? Grok. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know what was happening, but there were people that were pissing me off because I was getting tagged in some crap, and I was not follow everybody. But it's like the AI right of Twitter. Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought it was interesting. So apparently Grok decided to rank the best SEC cities. Not teams, not programs, not campuses, but cities. I just wanted to bring this up. Want to take a guess where Grok ranked Fayetteville among the list? Best college towns of SEC, I should say.
3rd.
Close. 4th.
Okay.
They had number 1 was Athens, Georgia, which been to Athens. It's really awesome. It's kind of like a little bit of a bigger Fayetteville, so I get that. Okay. Number 2 was Oxford. I'm like, okay.
Let's come on.
Yeah. It's like, yes, if you like small towns and nothing there and only having 3 different bars to go to where you have to pay $100 cover at minimum, then yeah, sure, that's your place. Austin, Texas was number 3. Okay. Like I've heard great things about Austin, but
Austin's nice as much as I hate to admit it. I'm not picking up the Oxford hype here.
No.
Been there. It just,
Well, also Austin's gotten so big, I don't even consider it a college town anymore. It's like Nashville type of thing. It's like I don't consider it a college
is huge.
town. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have 1 million people, over 1 million people that live there. Now, this is also something I'm just going to disagree, Curtis, and you'll disagree too. Grok had Auburn at 12th in the SEC.
Nah, that's too low, man.
Way too low.
It's too low.
Way too low. They had Lexington at 11. Auburn was better, just saying. And,
yeah, it was.
Yeah. And they have like Baton Rouge, Nashville. But the one I was also curious, and maybe you can speak more on this. because I think you've been there, but they have Missouri, Como at 10 above Lexington and Auburn. I don't get it.
I would probably go with Como at like 15 or so.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been to Starkville, but
at least I think Starkville's at 16. It's dead last.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, we get it. But Columbia, South Carolina, 15. Norman, Oklahoma, 14. College Station at 13. So some of them I feel like, okay, kind of fair. But
yeah, I
Auburn's
could see
way too-
Norman being down there.
Yeah.
Missouri needs to be down there for sure. Yeah, Auburn should be top half in my opinion.
Yeah, just a wasted opportunity there. It's just I don't agree. Don't agree with that at all. Okay, so we'll get to your chats, folks, and we'll also get into a little bit of our summer topics. Normally we do like entertainment and food and all that, but this is going to be mainly sports driven because I think it's really interesting, and we'll talk about it from the side of things when it comes to Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. Listen, we love the fact that we are going to be doing a live show on a boat on August 13th, Wednesday, August 13th, down there in Hot Springs at their marina. It's going to be so much fun. And the reason it's fun is because we're on a boat. I mean, what's better than being on a boat, especially when it's warm outside in the Great Lakes of Arkansas? Freedom Boat Club is going to be able to provide you with that, where you don't have to worry about owning the boat and keeping up with the boat and maintaining the boat and anything like that. All you do is when you join the club, you just show up, you get your boat, you go and have a good time, you bring it back, plain and simple. That's it. So they take care of everything. They have 3 locations in Arkansas, and Lake Time, of course, is closer than you even think. It can happen right now, whether you're going to Greer's Ferry Lake, Lake Hamilton, or even a day on the river at Little Rock there at the Arkansas River. Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas will help make your summer in the natural state the best one yet. So check out their website today. You can see a lot more information at freedomboatclubar.com. That's freedomboatclubar.com. And you can scan that QR code. You can check out their Instagram as well at Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. And you can learn more about the benefits about joining the club today with Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. So, all right. So again, we've been having some different summer topics, but I did want to bring this up. And Curtis, I know you watch it a little bit too. Sports Center, I guess they're doing the tour of 50 states and doing some state stuff of sports and entertainment and everything. They put out a video. Of course, I can't play any of it because we'll get demonetized. But it was interesting because they start with having the notable athletes or big time legends, sports legends, however, from the state of Arkansas. And then they went into this mountain biking thing in Bentonville, which I didn't understand. But the point is, when you think of the sports legends that are from Arkansas, not just played, not was a Razorback, just the state of Arkansas, who are the ones that come to mind immediately?
Well, I mean, basketball guy like Corliss and Scottie Pippen were the immediate ones where I was like, oh, that has to be there. And I think they were both mentioned on the ESPN thing. So I thought that they did well from that standpoint. But you know me, like I immediately go to basketball. So I'm like, okay. Those were the 2 that just jumped at me right away.
Yeah. Scottie Pippen is always going to be, to me, the most notable just because of not, and I hate to be this way because he's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the top 50 players of all time, but because of the direct connection with Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time. So if you mention Michael Jordan, you're always going to mention Scottie because, as they say, Jordan didn't win any titles until Scottie showed up, and it was the Batman and Robin thing. And I mean, just larger than life. And if you were a kid in the 90s, you were a Bulls fan. Plain and simple. And my brother, who's a little older than me, he had one of those black Chicago Bulls jerseys of 23 and a black Chicago Bulls jersey of 33. Parents wouldn't let us have 91 for Dennis Rodman. That's okay. But we had those 2. So yeah, to me, he's always going to be like the most iconic. And coming from UCA, Hamburg, Arkansas, not exactly known for producing all the athletes, but still, yeah, he's definitely there. I think Corliss for sure. Derek Fisher is another one for basketball. Went to UALR, and always make the jokes too that the greatest pro players in NBA for a while that the state of Arkansas ever produced, none of them actually played at Arkansas. It felt like, because like right now Austin Rivers is doing a great job, or is it Austin? Not Austin Rivers. Austin Reeves. Yeah, not Austin Rivers. Austin Reeves. It's like didn't go to Arkansas, but yeah, Corliss is up there. I think Torrey Hunter for baseball.
Such a great, yeah. he's not talked about enough. You know what I mean? He was one of my absolute favorites growing up. Torrey Hunter, awesome, legendary outfielder, man. He was so good. Better hitter than he got credit for. I think they said he wound up with like 350 some odd home runs in his career. That dude was awesome, man.
Yep. And just quick side story. I got to meet him just one time.
Really?
Ironically, I was a student at the U of A in 2012. I think you'll remember this game, Curtis. It was a Razorback basketball game when Michigan came to town. And I know there's been some great games at Bud Walton. That wasn't the greatest game, wasn't the greatest team, anything, but it may have been my favorite basketball game day because Michigan coming to town is interesting. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, number one. Two, it was Mike Anderson's first season. It felt like it was the first year of excitement. You had all those really good freshmen. Our shout out to BJ Young. Maybe he'll get into the chat and talk about it.
Yeah.
But you had that. It was on CBS, and you had the A team. You had Kevin Harlan and Bill Rafferty on the call. They came to Bud Walton Arena, and they were on the call on a Saturday. It was a big recruiting weekend for football because Dorial Green Beckham was there. I know he didn't work out, but he was there. It was a great game that came down to the wire. Anyways, it was just a great atmosphere. But Torrey Hunter was there, and they made a big deal. It's like, hey, Torrey Hunter's in the house. And I was walking up to leave, and he was just hanging out, and I just shook his hand. I was like, man, we appreciate you coming. And he was pumped. He was excited because he loved the game and all of that. So that was just a really cool thing. And definitely awesome. A guy that gets not enough love from the state of Arkansas, or at least being from the state of Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure, man.
I was thinking also, they did him dirty on this Sports Center deal. They talked about Mark Martin and it said who was a great NASCAR driver. And then they were just like, some consider him to be the greatest to never win a title. It's like, yeah, I'm sure he appreciates that. Sure he loves hearing that.
Just Charles Barkley and that man that's nasty work. It really is.
Yep. Also, who's a greater athlete to come out of Batesville, Mark Martin or our guy Gage Wood? People are asking.
Yeah, so, ask again in a decade, and we might have a different answer. You know,
it very well could be. Another one I mentioned, of course, John Daly might be.
Yeah,
individually, dude won 2 majors, so it's more than a lot of people do. But he's definitely in the mix. Football wise, really, they only mentioned McFadden, which I get. McFadden's great and all, but
it's a good start.
Yeah. But when you think about the guys that translated to the pros and what they did in the pros, I'm not saying Darren McFadden was not good in the pros. He was okay, but kept trying to think. I was like, man, who's the greatest player in the pros from football? I mean, Dan Hampton, I think, is probably the most decorated.
Sure.
But as far as recent goes, we'll say SEC era of Arkansas, man, they really haven't had a whole lot of them that have been to that level, at least some of these other guys from the state, not that played for the Razorbacks, but from the state.
Yeah.
That would be
important
there.
To distinguish there for sure.
Mm-hmm. I guess actually Dan Hampton wasn't even from the state of Arkansas, so I guess I can't even mention him. But yeah, man, that's tough. They got, because every player I keep thinking, I'm like, nope, they weren't from the state of Arkansas. Sitting there is like, oh man, Trey Flowers, no. Dietrich Wise, nope, not from Arkansas. None of that happening. So, but somebody says, I guess Traylon Burks. Well,
that's tough. That's tough, man.
Yeah, it's not ideal there, but I don't know. That it just shows you that there's been some great players from the state of Arkansas, but football wise, it's a little slacking a little bit when it comes to the pros. Bobby Portis, Bradley says Bobby Portis too.
Yeah, and Bobby Portis is a good one. I can't believe that they didn't mention Joe Johnson.
It's wild.
It's ISO Joe, man. 7-time All-Star, 20,000 plus points in the league. I think he should be a Hall of Famer. That just seems like an easy one to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would.
We're talking about known for their pro careers and everything too. I mean, good grief.
Yeah, to me, Joe Johnson and Sidney Moncrief are the greatest pro basketball players that were Razorbacks ever, and both of them are from the state of Arkansas, and neither of them mentioned. I thought that was crazy. One of these days, I want to share the video of Carmelo Anthony talking about Joe Johnson here recently. He talked about, he's like, you remember that time he made Paul Pierce touch earth because he just dribbled around and just made him fall on the ground. He called it the Hezzy pool. He is just unstoppable. But yeah, Joe Johnson's definitely there in the mix. Somebody Hickory Hawk says Jermaine Taylor put the state on the map in the boxing world for a while. Yeah, for a split second. Yeah,
I like it.
Say, what was Thug Nasty, whatever his name is.
Well, see, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to get everybody triggered in here. But like Bryce Mitchell,
yeah. Well,
in that realm, he is a very known figure.
Yeah,
maybe more so for the stuff that comes out of his mouth as opposed to his actual fighting prowess. But
you mean Arkansas? Every time I put a mic in my face, I'm gonna say Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I didn't know too. I'm sure somebody's going to yell at me about this. Did you know Sonny Liston was from Arkansas?
I didn't know Sonny Liston was from Arkansas.
Apparently born in Arkansas. So there you go.
Dang, there you go.
Yeah, and there was another one I was going to bring up too, real quick. Like, cause some of them are just figures, like Bear Bryant, there. But let's see, you got like Brooks Robinson was from Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
You got Barry Switzer, of course, from Arkansas.
Yeah,
you got Jerry Jones from Arkansas. So you got a few of them that are known, maybe not like for their pro athleticism, but
honestly, I mean, like Kalen's got Hunter Henry as a pull.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Yeah, I mean Drake Greenlaw is another one. I think is the way he's been playing. Like currently, definitely there in the mix. Trying to think if there's one more that was from here. Some of them are just like Billy Ray Smith. That's like old school guys. Nothing against them. Just, not really any from their current state.
I wonder if we're going to be able to eventually pull Taylen Peter. Like if we did this a few years down the road. Is that name familiar to you?
No.
Russellville high school kid. He went and played 1 year for John Pelfrey at Tennessee Tech. And then he played 2 years at Arkansas Tech. And then he transferred to Liberty this past season, and then he got drafted by the Indiana Pacers. And so he's in the NBA now, 2nd round draft pick or whatever. I don't know how well he did in summer league, but I don't know.
He's going to be
with Halliburton out for a year. He might get a shot,
Dude, he's going to be one of those players that myself and everyone's going to be watching NBA one day, and they're going to be like doing starting lineups or whatever. It's just like, a kid out of the state of Arkansas. What? Who is this? Why did he play at Arkansas?
Russellville, Arkansas. What?
Yeah. Like everyone's going to get mad. It's like, why didn't Cal offer this kid or whoever? It's like, it's going to happen. But
and the interesting thing about that is last year when he hit the portal from Arkansas Tech, Muss and the gang before they left were like, they were in on him, they targeted him. They were talking to him heavily, talking to his people and trying to decide like, let's do our evaluation. Could there be something here? They left. It didn't pick up from there, but that would have been an interesting story.
It definitely would have. I was going to see if there was any chats from people of saying like other notable players, but I just think people missed the assignment. It's like, again, they not ones that played for the Razorbacks, but from the state of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Just from the state of Arkansas. There's a big difference there. But also, as our chat let us know, apparently Ozzy Osbourne has passed away officially.
R.I.P.
The front man for the band Black Sabbath, as we all know, 76 years old after a years long struggle with Parkinson's disease. Now, I hate to hear that, obviously, but the song that I always think of with Ozzy Osbourne is it "Crazy Train"? I mean, is that kind of like the number one? Maybe Iron Man.
Yeah.
Those two. And then also, I don't know if you ever watched the reality show, The Osbournes on MTV back.
I was about to ask you if you were a fan of that. Sharon's a gem,
Oh man. And then that was like one of the first reality shows I feel like I watched. Because that was during a time where I still was like, oh, this is real life, because you're just so naive to it. But watching a family and like Ozzy just not really making sense in half the things he said. It was just like yelling, and then got the kids doing their thing. I don't know. It was just really entertaining. It was very entertaining.
Yeah. It's that's sad, and RIP for sure. 76. That's that man lived. So getting to that point, I think is actually pretty impressive for a guy that lived the way that Ozzy did, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And before I know we're about to wrap up here, but they're doing a Big Ten Media Days this week. Did you see Brett Bielema's quote as soon as he gets up to the podium?
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be audio of it, but all he said was, "Holy bleep, the world has changed." That's all you need to know. Just holy bleep, the world has changed. Can't wait to see the audio from that because he's going to be having a little grin on his face when he says that for sure. So
I've seen them picked as high as 3rd in the Big Ten by some folks.
I'm just saying, it gives me the vibes. I know they ended up going 5-3 in the SEC and everything, but it gives me the vibes of that 2015 preseason because I think Arkansas was picked to finish like 3rd in the SEC West that year because you had all those players back and everything, and then ended up being okay, but you lost to Toledo, lost to Texas Tech, made it worse. But that's what that vibe gives me. If they're going to take that next step, and then they end up going 7-5 again.
Wow, is Altmaier that guy? I don't know, man. He's good, but good grief.
Well, also,
I'm pulling for him though.
No, I mean I am too. I don't mind Bert. I can't call him that, but it's also their schedule is pretty favorable for the most part. I was looking at it. Their big game on the road this year is Duke. It's like, okay, but then they have Indiana, USC, which Lincoln Riley. We'll see what he does. But then at Purdue, which is a game I'm actually going to be at, Curtis. Just to let you know. Spoiler alert.
You're going to Illinois, Purdue?
Yep.
That's electric, man.
Because it's the weekend of the bye week for Arkansas. It's my birthday weekend. And I got personally invited by Coach Barry Odom to go. So I was like, that makes sense. I'm going to go to that. So that'll be fun.
Let's go.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that's like. But either way, they play Ohio State the next weekend at home. Then at Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, at Wisconsin, and Northwestern. I don't know. It just feels like it's the schedules.
They might win 9 or 10 games.
Yeah, fairly navigable. But either way, should be a lot of fun. All right. Well, Curtis, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
Fun show.
Yeah.
Fun show today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Same old. Stay tapped into everything else we got going on. Pod at the Palace continues to roll on. And this is a fun time of year, honestly, because that post Peach Jam fallout from all that, like everybody starts doing their list cuts, everybody starts scheduling their visits, and so like the competition starts taking shape for all of these top recruits, and that'll carry us over until probably August 1st or something, and then we'll start digging deep again. But appreciate everybody for tuning into that, and make sure you continue to do so, even with football rolling around, you sickos. Don't you abandon basketball. Don't you dare.
I think it's going to be the opposite. I think they're going to abandon football quicker than anything. So let's just be honest. But it's keeping it going there. My final thought, I just was going to have something different, but Razorback Zach made me do it. He said, someone said we fired Bert too early. It was an interesting take. No, it's not, because he went 4-8 in his final year and 1-7. Okay. So anybody that's just like, all right, we fired Bert too. The dude went 4-8, 1-7, and his one win being a crazy comeback on the road against Ole Miss. And he almost lost to Coastal Carolina, who had one win on the year. So yeah. Don't give me
TJ Hammonds.
Yes. Yeah. Don't give me that crap. I fired him too early. Yeah. You weren't saying that at the time. So I don't want to hear it. But either way, appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching in here to Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas Live. Check out all of our audio podcasts, Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, as well as the Bombastic Podcast. And you can also follow us on social media at Inside Arkansas. So that'll do it for us today. Appreciate each and every one of you. For Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.